Since its successful launch in December, and after surviving 30 days of a nerve-wracking journey, NASA's James Webb Space Telescope has reached its final destination, the Sun-Earth L2 LaGrange Point. What's up next on tap for the James Webb Space Telescope? How soon will we see images that the James Webb Telescope produces as it looks into space? Welcome to Reaching for the Moon, hosted by me, Ed Grace. Since its launch in December 2021, the James Webb Telescope has traveled almost 1 million miles to arrive at its Sun-Earth LaGrange Point L2. The James Webb Space Telescope will be orbiting the Sun from the L2 LaGrange Point. Lagrange points are positions in space where the gravitational forces of two bodies, like the Sun and the Earth, produce enhanced regions of attraction and repulsion. That means that the James Webb Space Telescope and Earth will remain in the same position relative to each other as they orbit the Sun. Thus, the Earth is going to provide shade from the Sun and keep the James Webb Telescope cool as required in order for it to function properly. James Webb Space Telescope's L2 point is unstable based on a time scale of approximately 23 days. Thus, the Webb Telescope will need to undergo regular course and attitude corrections to maintain its orbit around the Sun. In order to enter its L2 orbit, the Webb Space Telescope had to fire its thrusters for approximately 5 minutes. The James Webb Space Telescope was launched with not enough thrust to get all the way to the L2 point and had to complete the final leg of the journey using its own thrusters. This maneuver was planned as a safety measure. Although the Ariane 5 rocket that launched Webb to space was capable of sending the James Webb all the way to the L2 point, NASA wanted to make sure that the James Webb Telescope did not overshoot its final destination. Overshooting the L2 point would have required the Space Telescope to turn around and fire its engines back at Earth. Turning around would have exposed the James Webb Space Telescope instruments to the Sun and possibly overheat them. Webb and its instruments need to stay extremely cool in order to work as designed. The James Webb Space Telescope has spent the past 30 days slowly and carefully unfolding its sun shield and other vital parts. The James Webb Space Telescope had to fit into the Ariane 5 fairings, so it was folded like an origami piece. Prior to its insertion burn, the telescope finished deploying the 18 hexagon segments that make up its glorious gold primary mirror. The overall deployment process was a very anxiety-inducing period, for it included hundreds of potential single-point failures that could have spelled disaster for the James Webb Space Telescope. With its location so far from Earth, if something went wrong, there would be no sending of an astronaut to fix the problem. That was done with the Hubble. But despite any nerves, the James Webb Space Telescope made it through deployment spectacularly, and its arrival in orbit around the L2 point is another huge milestone completed successfully for the James Webb Space Telescope. For the next few months, all equipment and systems on board will be tested by the ground to verify they are working properly. Finally, the James Webb Space Telescope will begin its scientific operations about 6 months after launch. Our astronomers and scientists cannot wait for the James Webb Space Telescope to get operational. The technological advances of the James Webb Space Telescope are huge compared to the Hubble telescope, and its findings at this time are totally unpredictable. Only time will tell us what new discoveries are made using the James Webb Space Telescope. As the information becomes available, we'll continue to keep you updated on the progress of the James Webb Space Telescope. Well, with that, we're going to end today's video. I hope you enjoyed it. Hit the like button as well as the subscribe and notification buttons to receive an email every time Reaching for the Moon posts a new video. Thank you for watching, and remember always, failure is not an option. Bye.